Most of us have felt the urge to get away from it all. And then there's Brent Underwood, who's taken that concept to a whole new level, as Luke Burbank explains.
All right, it's day 2 here at Cerro Gordo. 6 months by myself.
8 months.
There might only be a few people on planet Earth who can say they've been more socially distant during the pandemic than Brent Underwood.
So I thought, hey, what better place to socially distance than an abandoned town in the middle of nowhere? And so packed up my truck, I drove out here.
Here, perched on the edge of Death Valley, 8 miles up a winding dirt road, is the abandoned mining town of Cerro Gordo, California. Population, Brent.
Hello!
Do you ever start to feel sort of like Tom Hanks in Castaway?
So I do. People think that it's a really lonely place, and it can be, but I think to combat that, I remind myself that a lot of people are lonely in the past year.
So where are we standing right now?
This is one of the original cabins.
Underwood isn't just Cerro Gordo's sole resident, he also owns it, all 380 acres. Back in 2018, he and some business partners bought it to turn it into a tourist destination by restoring the town and its old hotel.
It was 1.4 million. I didn't have anywhere close to that much, but I had enough to put down the earnest money deposit. So it was, let's secure this thing and let's figure out the rest later.
As it turns out, people have been taking a chance on Cerro Gordo ever since 1865, when silver was discovered here, high in the Inyo Mountains.
Things during the silver period were wild.
Roger Vargo is an expert on Cerro Gordo, who co-wrote a book about it, along with his wife, Cecile.
We talk about a Wild West town right out of a Clint Eastwood movie. Various newspaper accounts had shootings once a week, stabbings, other kinds of violence.
At its peak in 1872, Cerro Gordo generated roughly $150 million, adjusted for inflation, in silver and lead mining. But, like all booms, things eventually went bust. By the 1930s, Cerro Gordo was all but abandoned. Over the years, a series of different owners lived here and maintained the town before 34-year-old Brent Underwood bought it.
How long do you think you're going to stay here?
Long time. During my time up here, my parents sold my childhood home. And so when people ask me what's home now, it's Cerro Gordo. This is my home.
Underwood left his city life in Austin, Texas, where he ran a hostel, to live and work full-time at Cerro Gordo.
And then slowly, I rebuilt the floor.
And it is very much a full-time job.
Do you know how to build things? Do you have a background in that?
No, I do not. And so I'm learning on the job training, if you will.
But of course, living in an abandoned mining town has its perks.
So 400 feet of ladder would lead you down to the 400 level.
Brent gets to explore the mines, which haven't been touched in decades.
And looky what we have here.
And the stuff that he finds?
I don't want to get anybody too excited too early, but there's definitely some garments over here.
It all goes into his museum.
The most common type of bottle you find here is the Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce.
Really?
Because the meat was so bad, they needed to put a lot of sauce on all of the meat that was here.
And when he finds cool things, Underwood is sure to put them on his YouTube channel, Ghost Town Living.
Wouldn't really be a mining adventure without finding one of those.
He shares both the highs and the lows of living in Cerro Gordo.
About 5 hours ago, around 2:30 in the morning, a fire burned down our hotel here at Cerro Gordo.
The videos have become so popular
We wanted to come up and meet you because we've seen your videos and think
that fans often trek up the mountain
So I just wanted to come meet you.
Thank you, that's awesome.
to volunteer or just tell Brent they love the channel.
Someone's chasing a dream. That's what I see. I see somebody who's able to do what others would only think about in the back of their mind. And you got this guy right here, and you're doing it.
Have you been pleasantly surprised how he's thrown himself into it?
Oh, absolutely. He's gained an understanding of Cerro Gordo that you can only get when you actually live there and experience it for an extended amount of time.
Of course, even his biggest fans eventually head back down the mountain.
This is Lola.
For now, Underwood's cats,
How are you?
goats, and alpacas
You're home. Be free.
will have to do for companionship. His priority, he says, is to rebuild that town hotel that burned down so he can start hosting paying customers. Who knows? Maybe Cerro Gordo has one last boom in it after all.
It was here before I was here, so I just see myself as the current chaperone, and to do my best, I'm willing to give it my all, you know.